a
All
little
right.
bit about him.
Well-
And so he was recovered in July of this year.
Well,
What
he
was
may
that
have been
experience like?
recovered over the last 5 years when they brought up a hull that was found in the ocean from the USS Oklahoma. And when they opened it up, there was barrel oil throughout the whole thing. It was pitch black. And of course, everything disintegrated, such as paperwork, articles of clothing, things like that. But bones were preserved because of the oil coating, dog tags, buttons, things like that. And what they did was took every piece of everything that they could find and they separated it into Rubbermaid tubs, along with unearthing the burial sites where they just took body parts of people that they could not identify after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and they put them in 500 Rubbermaid totes, and they would separate them by like a tibia, a fibula, teeth, skulls, things like that. And they started with the skulls, and they did that because it's the easiest to identify because they had dental records. Now, my grandmother and grandfather grew up during the Great Depression, and they were poor people. Uncle Arthur, my mom, and their older sister had never even been to a dentist. And so he wasn't lucky enough, and they may not have found his skull. 2 weeks after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, my grandmother got a telegram that said that her son was MIA. And for every year until her death in 1978, she wrote letters to the Navy, called them, really felt in her heart and her soul that he was alive. Every December 6th, the year after Pearl Harbor, she set up a little Christmas tree because she felt the next day that he would knock on her door after having had amnesia, living with another family, been severely burned and no fingerprints, or unable to speak, that he would all of a sudden miraculously appear. But over the years, even though I wasn't even born when he enlisted, they kept him alive to me and my family, and told stories. My mom and he were best friends. My mom was a tomboy, and she followed him around. After my grandmother died in 1978, my mother and I took up the cause, if I want to call it that, or the search. And for 41 years, I have been working towards this goal. And my mother died 11 years ago, and I had her at home with me in hospice. I held her in my arms, and I told her I would not give up the search. So in 2010,